guys might be able to hear the screaming in the background. That's a schizophrenic lady screaming at a couple of drug addicts, and it's a daily occurrence. I'm used to it. I don't get much sleep as a result of it. Not that I sleep much anyway. So let's get to what this video is about. Only one side gets shown. It's not how it's supposed to work, but there are some people that nobody cares about. It's because of bias. You might have a brother who's schizophrenic and does messed up shit. You might. But that doesn't mean that everybody who's got a mental illness is schizophrenic. Now, this ASMR lady, well, there's some stuff that she typed to me that absolutely isn't the truth, but she typed it anyway knowing it isn't the truth. Now, let's start with credible sources. If what your sources are saying does not fit the evidence, then they're not credible. It's pretty simple. Now, I'm going to try to give this woman the benefit of the doubt. Not because she's a woman, but because she's got the words true crime in the name of her channel. Well, all right. Now, what can we say about this lady? Well, she's a YouTube content creator, so she also definitely knows how to do the editing and all that stuff better than I do. I'm living in a tent doing this with a telephone. On the bright side, I've got literally tens of thousands of screenshots of threats and harassment and intimidation. Got lots of evidence. I got 8,000 YouTube videos to go through. Now, this lady, I'm going to make sure that all of the stuff that she was incorrect about, incorrect and or lied about, whichever the case may be, I'm going to give her the opportunity to show the truth. From the very start, this was an abuse case. Not against Natalie, but against me. However, all Natalie and her friends and family and all those other people who took part in this bullshit, all they had to do was say mentally ill, and automatically everybody's ears turned off. A lot of people who knew me as a highly intelligent person listened to what I had to say. The moment they found out that I have Asperger's, which is high-functioning autism, they started talking down to me like I was an idiot. Well, that's not helpful. Now, she also wanted to type that I was a drug addict. Well, if you're talking about tobacco, yeah. If you're talking about caffeine, yeah. I drink coffee, puts me to sleep. It's nice. But I've never tried heroin, never tried cocaine, never tried crack, never felt the need to. Now, this lady's credible sources, who are they? Where's the actual evidence? There's a lot of stuff that you guys aren't told. You weren't told that I was illegally prevented from going to court. You weren't told about any of that. You think these officers are going to tell you that before Natalie was killed, I went to them repeatedly trying to get help? Now, of course, going through these thousands of videos, and then there's the paperwork that I got. Lots and lots and lots of paperwork showing that I am not schizophrenic. I am not delusional. But this is what my predators wanted to insinuate so that only one side is heard. Now, you want to talk about all these rights that we have. And I try to explain to you that once they call you mentally ill, you need someone to look at the evidence and turn it in with you. Otherwise, you are going to get dismissed. You're going to get talked over. Your story is never going to get heard. And we live in the United States. The more broke you are, the less rights you have. You want to talk about the harder you work, harder you work. No. It ain't about hard work. Most people could not handle the jobs that I worked before I screwed up my back. Thank God for immigrants. Why do I stick up for the immigrants that I know? Well, primarily because I've worked with a lot of immigrants. Now, this lady from the ASMR, that means she whispers when she says it. Okay, we'll whisper then. A lot of people listen to her channel because it helps them go to sleep. We get to hear about how afraid women are of men. Well, men have more right and more reason to be afraid of women. Between false accusations and violence. Absolutely. Women are more likely to get violent than a man. Statistics have shown this, and this is despite the fact that you need overwhelming evidence to convict a woman, whereas an accusation against a man is often good enough. So, of course, that whispering doesn't make me feel any better. It just annoys me. However, just because the sound of my own whisper annoys me, doesn't mean that you guys aren't free to listen to whatever you want to. And here's the difference between myself and my predators. My predators tried to destroy evidence, and in many cases they did. They tried to convince others to come at me, to come after me, to try to destroy evidence on Facebook, to try to destroy evidence on YouTube. And in some cases they succeeded. Now, of course, many of y'all who watch this, you know about the Natalie Bollinger situation. You know it's a very real situation. What do these predators here do? Same thing they do everywhere that I move. They pretend that it's a delusion, that I made it up, and then by the time they realize that it's not a delusion, well, at that point, they start looking for any excuse they can to arrest me. Like if I call 911 on people vandalizing my vehicle or assaulting me. Anyway, in order to make a video for this lady, it takes a bit of going through this evidence, scrolling through literally thousands of screenshots. And where the hell did I put my ashtray? There it is. I don't have to go through thousands of videos because I know where a lot of them are. Some of them I don't remember the names of them, but I reference them in later videos, and I know some of the names of those, so I can look them up. I know some of the keywords, so I can look them up. I got a writing pad right here for writing all that stuff down. Now, don't get me wrong, this is something that I've done many times. The parts that you guys get to see, and then you see them in context, and you're like, well, any idiot should be able to figure that out. Let me tell you about Deputy Taylor here in the jail. Tillamook, Oregon. This is the first officer and or deputy to verify the Natalie Bollinger situation, and that is the only reason that any of these people listen to me instead of assuming that I'm schizophrenic or delusional. Deputy Taylor wrote down on a piece of paper that he can verify that the Natalie Bollinger situation is true, that he's watched some of these shows, that he was aware of it before he met me, and that it's still popular. He also verified that it was on A&E, which I can't say that to a therapist, that I was on A&E, a quote-unquote state therapist. I can't say that, or they will assume that it's a delusion. If the police lie and I tell the truth, I will be assumed to be a liar or delusional by the mental health practitioners of the state, because my words are different than the police officers. It is assumed that those police officers must be telling the truth because they're the police. Now, we can see every single day that that's not the case. We got to see a police officer from Virginia traveled all the way across the country to stalk a 14-year-old girl. A police officer did this. Killed a couple people in the process, too. That's not okay, but you guys want to pretend that that's me, despite the fact that the evidence shows otherwise. If someone's stalking you, you don't invite them to come see you. You don't call them up and tell them that you're going to end your own existence if they don't come see you, if they're not already on the road. Natalie Bollinger drove her vehicle into a telephone pole because I wasn't already on the road. That's why I went to Virginia. I drove 1,700 miles to get away from Natalie. She followed me to Colorado, not the other way around. I was there first. I didn't even know she was in Colorado until after she was dead. Now, there's a lot of issues I got. Like, I got to try to figure out how to connect my cards so that I can pay for the extra storage space to get my email thing back so that I can actually get emails. Because it's one of the free Google account emails or whatever, but once you get a certain amount of emails in there, the storage space is full and you got to purchase more. I'm not good with this kind of stuff. This is why I literally have paid thousands of dollars to people to help me to do these things. Most of them just rip me off. And then, of course, in each of these places, I'm supposed to go to these peer support people who are supposedly going to help. And in these situations, what do I have in common with the peer support? Like I was saying in Hood River. Like I said in Virginia, too. When I was in Hood River, Oregon, and Astoria, Oregon, I recorded the situations there and how I was treated and how I was bullied and how people who were supposed to be professionals wanted to laugh at me like it was funny. Now, this ASMR lady, I'm going to try to keep this video under 20 minutes, but I'm going to try to send her, or make a video for everybody, of course, not just her. All of you are free to see it. Got enough of that evidence in there that shows All this stuff was intentionally used out of context. The term mentally ill was used to discredit me as a victim and to prevent me from showing evidence in court. There's also the situation with public defenders. Public pretenders is what we call them, because they barely pretend to defend us. They're too busy looking at their profit margin. Just like CARE. I got to go to CARE to try to turn in abuse. Unfortunately, CARE just wants to push the housing thing, which I keep filling out the housing paperwork, but nothing ever happens. The lady who's supposed to be my case lady now, she wanted to pretend like I'm just now okay with getting housing. No, I'm not okay with the housing here, but I'm willing. I've filled out the paperwork repeatedly. I'm willing to fill it out again. She's claiming that she can't find it now. So I told her I'd fill it out again. She said, no, I'll go through the emails. Well, she already said that she was going to go through the emails about 3 or 4 times. It's not getting done. I, as a disabled person, am being dependent upon people who selectively do their jobs. This lady has been out of work, as in sick is what they've been claiming, but they've missed a lot of appointments. And when I say they, it's because it's not just her. And through all the stuff they're doing, it's hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. Well, there's a time limit on this stuff. There's a statute of limitations. She told me last time we met that they're part of a 3-way thing with the police. Like, okay. And they told me previously that they don't actually work with the police when they didn't want to, basically. So we're getting run around in circles. Meanwhile, they've missed over 30 appointments, and those appointments all could have been opportunities for them to find out more about the situation, but they haven't. And then the days that we're supposed to work on the stuff, like getting my back money from disability. And instead of that, well, the lady that's supposed to be the person who's helping me, she did call the cops about one of these situations. Thank goodness. Then the next time I saw her, she told me that her boss said she's not allowed to do that. They only advocate for housing. And that's another thing that I've been complaining about through all this. None of these mandatory reporters will do their jobs. They will only do what gets them paid over and over and over again. If they do their job as a mandatory reporter right away, and then that problem becomes fixed, it's not a problem anymore, then you don't have any reason to go back to those places. Now I'm having to go back to those places again and again and again because I'm ordered to. I'm told that this is the only place that's going to help me, or this is the place that's supposed to help me, and none of them do. They send me around in circles. And then they don't want to be recorded. Well, they're breaking the law. And they've broken the law, resulting in felonies committed against me. As much as I would like to post up every single assault, it's just not even possible. So I'm going to make a collection of the assaults for her to see, as well as how this all started. It all started with me being a good friend. And unlike Natalie Bollinger, I'm not a drug addict. Don't go destroying people's lives just because you're embarrassed or because you don't want to admit that you screwed up. Tell the truth. Calling somebody mentally ill prevents them from being allowed an honest day in court unless they have a friend or family who gives a crap enough to look. Did you look, or did you just spread the same slander as everyone else? Meanwhile, none of these places tell the same story.